Good morning, welcome back to Casa TexPina. We're on build day number, I think it's 96. I'll have to check my notes. Let me look. Today is notes. Yes, we're on build day number 96. Senior moment, sorry. So, build day number 96. Got on site this morning and noticed we have zero power. Checking the Power Cooperative's Facebook page, noticed they did post a notice that we are without power today from 8 to 5. So when the welders showed up, we told them there's no power. By welders, so they went to somewhere else. They had another job site that they could go run to. So for today, mostly all manual labor. We'll be continuing with the fence dig and build. They're continuing to build on this side of it, doing plaster coating on the inside of the house. We have a couple of guys that have switched out from other job sites with the same contractor, same builder. So these guys, in the event that there is an eventual lockdown again or they change anything for travel wise, these guys are able to get to this site more easily because of the proximity of where they live to getting here. So we had a couple of guys switch out. With that, got a couple guys working on the large picture window in the back of the living room and putting in the last two bottom rows of hollow block. More guys, like I said, are continuing to work on the fence. With that, there are different portions of it. We have guys that are building up the hollow block wall, going up an additional 3 courses above grade level. As we get here to the front, we've got more guys that are starting to work the putting the column footers into place for the posts. And then further down, you see Mr. Dominador way in the back, continuing to dig out where the fence line is going to go. So that's we got a lot of folks here today, mostly just all the regular labor force. So as they get going through, we'll go ahead and walk through and show you what everybody's doing. So let's get started. All right, as I went over in the intro, the fence line actually has multiple work sites on it. We have guys down at the end on this side on the south wall that are putting in the additional courses of hollow block. They will put in 5 courses of hollow block total. So the 2 that are below grade, 3 that are up above. And on this side here in the front, we have a couple of guys that are in the back building these rebar column footers. So they're building these. They have a cage that goes down inside of these areas, which have been dug out. Kind of hard to see in my shadow. Okay, so here, this is where the post will go. They'll put the cage down in the bottom, put the post in the middle of it, and continue on one every 4.5 meters. And Mr. Dominador way down in the corner with his mobile shade is continuing to dig out the actual fence location, the foundation line. All right, let's go take a walk inside and see where everybody's at inside the building today. So we've got, again with no current, no power, a brownout day. Hand mixing of the mortar that'd be used for plaster coat. Back here in the living room, these guys are continuing to plaster coat the sides of the walls where the picture window is going to go, and then they will also continue 2 courses of hollow block across the bottom edge. Mr. Chalks, our electrician, is back, and he is working the switches in the kitchen hallway. So I'll be working on roughing those in today. Up here, this is above the walk-in closet and coat closet in the hallway here. They're taking off the actually they're putting in place the forms for pouring concrete a little later today. This is one of the last these are one of the last brain cramps this morning. This is one of the last top bond beams that they're doing around the first floor. Up on the second floor, when they get to the attic floor slab, they are continuing to work that area. Okay, with another bond beam. Here in bedroom 3, Mr. Ben has moved in and is starting to work on the plaster coating. First step is to get the bond beams flat and level so that they can plaster coat over the top of it. Back here in the stairwell, Mr. Jericho is continuing with plaster coat. Once they get all this plaster coat in on both sides of the stairwell, they will come back and mark out where all the steps are going to go for the stairwell going up to the attic floor slab. Pardon me. And that's where everybody's at on the inside of the house. Let's see if I can run through quickly on the outside. Excuse me. Okay, on the outside edge, I remember showing you already the fence work that's going on over here. And as you can see, Mr. Pablo is mixing mortar for that. And back here, 2 of my carpenters are fabricating the rebar for the column footer posts for the fence line. That is where everybody's at today. All right, I'm gonna see if I can do a walk around real quick before everybody breaks for merienda. So it's putting in more of the mortar around the door frames here in the maid suite garage area. On the back side here, you guys are still working the rebar for the posts, mixing up the last bit of mortar before break time. And over here on the side by the fence, we are already up to 4 courses of hollow block in some places, and they're starting to install also the electrical conduit for the lights that are going to go on the top. Okay, and there's the bell. That's merienda time. Time to take a break. Okay, let's go take a look around the front of the house and see where people were working. Still digging out around the front edge there. Then coming into the house, plaster coat still being worked slowly, and this will smooth off the edges here on the side, and then they're going to come across the bottom here with again 2 more courses of hollow block. Everybody's jumping for break time. They've been working the plaster coating here in the pantry area. Looking good. Still got the next step, he's still putting on a little more. You notice he's still got a little bit of space here between the plaster coat and the string line. Then he's going to start screeding to make sure that it's all even and smooth. That's what they use here for. Got to remember to stop walking through this area. This is not a hallway. So if I get it in my head that to walk only where the walls are going to be, it'll make pointing things out to you guys a lot easier. Same thing with this area here. I like to shortcut and walk through the closet, but there's going to be a linen closet on this side and a walk-in closet on that side, so I can't walk through that wall. Back in the bedroom number 3. Mr. Ben has been busy doing the plaster coating over the top. This is the top half of the wall. So they've still got 2 walls left in this room to finish plaster coating. The one here by the walk-in closet I was just talking about, and this main area here adjoining the Jack and Jill bath, and then they've still got the entranceway. So total three walls still left to do in this particular room. All right, up on top, they're also up on the attic floor slab area. They're also putting in the top bond beam for, let's see if you can see it, top bond beam going along the top of the wall here, and they are incorporating the roof trusses into that bond beam, so it will be all one piece for that section area anyway. So they're working their way around to the other side of the wall as well. All right, taking a look around the upstairs up in the attic. We haven't been up here in probably a week or so. The gentlemen are putting up the top beam across this section, incorporating the trusses that are coming down. So when they pour the top beam, those trusses will be included and secured to the roof, or secured to the wall, which is then secured to the building. All right, time for a post-lunch walk around. Let's go see what the boys are doing. Sans power. No power today. So the door frames in the garage area were almost completed. They leave the top part open for when they get ready to do the plaster coat on the whole wall, and they'll fill that in on both sides. He has since moved over. Mr. Anjo moved over to the one for the garage, going into the kitchen hallway, and he's working that from the inside, taking advantage of the shade. Okay, let's move on into the kitchen breakfast nook. Here we got Mr. Joel, new to the site today. Working on plaster coating the sides of the picture window here and there, and now he's working on the piece here next for the breakfast nook area. Mr. Anjo is working on forms for the doorway in the kitchen hallway that I told you about. Over here, these gentlemen are still working the mortar mix. Again, no power. That means it's by hand power. All right, let's take a look down the hallway here. See what we got. More plaster coating working. Getting ready to get started on the bottom half here. And working the, get ready to get set up for plaster coating the stairwell. All right, coming back out of the house. What's the news, Miss Emie? Oh, yeah. Get some more rubble taken out of here. Gotta clean up the site a little bit. All right, so continuing on, yes, there was some guys here before lunch that were picking up a lot of the rubble, a lot of this stuff that is just no longer usable, but makes the site kind of unsightly. Site is unsightly, yes. So they picked up some of it. They'll be back a little bit later and continue picking up the rest. As you can see, we've got some big pieces of concrete that you really can't use anywhere else. So we are on this side with the perimeter fence. We are continuing to work C-bars on top of the foundation rebar at the bottom. Hello, hello. Good afternoon, he says. All right, we got posts up, coming up to the corner. And then this is going to go up to that mahon over there, or the benchmark as we call it in the States. And it's going to turn down the side. if you guys notice, excuse me, if you guys notice, when you look at this area here in the front of the house, from the aerial, from the drone shots, you will notice that this side of the yard is much thinner than that side of the yard. No, the house is not set crooked. The road is crooked, believe it or not. The way that the lots are set out, the front side here is like a kind of like a trapezoid. It's wide along the base, short along the top. So this road here in front actually comes back in towards the property. Nothing we could really do about that other than to make sure that the building was set in the back, and we squared it off of the side of the road, the side roads, so that we made sure that the house is actually straight. On the sides here where Miss Emie's at, you'll have enough area here and this will all be straight. Same thing on the other side by the garage, that side will be straight. So the only difference is this big old piece here in the front is going to be crooked. Once the fence is up, I don't really think people are going to notice too much. All right, down the south wall here, we have the 5 courses of hollow block up the side with the electrical conduit already in place and wire pulls. Oh, you can't see that here. As you can see, we got wire pulls coming out of the conduit. That's so that when we pull electrical wire later, it's much easier to pull. All you do is you hook the wire to one end, pull the wire, and it comes back through for you. It's sometimes you'll hear it called fishing wire. Same idea. All right, so this is going to be the height for the perimeter fence from the outside, and from this we're going to go up another 1.2 meters, and then we'll have the fence gate steel structures, the grills in the middle, and ours is supposed to do this big hump thing here in the center and work its way over. Should be kind of a gradual thing. Most people won't notice too much. It'll hump in the middle. The idea is in the center of the grill, I'm gonna have some type of a small design here in the center. So we'll see how this thing goes. Looking good so far. Yes, I did confirm with the site foreman that this line will be capped eventually, so they're not going to put a sleeve on it at this point, but they're also not continuing much further that way with construction until they get this shed relocated to the other end or a little bit further down so that they can build this wall there. As you can see, the guys are still working cement and sand, making mortar for the guys inside. If they start adding rock to it, then we get concrete. But hey, that's a quick snapshot of where everybody's at. All right, the site foreman's been working on the rise and run of the steps, so we've got it now. This first step's going to be a little low, which is good. Then the runs are 30 centimeter when they're done with the nose, because you're going to have the stair tread come out and hang over a little bit above the step for the next level. And then the rise is 19 centimeters. Okay, so we're going to have a 19 centimeter rise and a 30 centimeter run. So it should be ergonomically correct. And it also happens to end on the oro, plata, mata routine, ending on oro, which means gold, silver, death. So you never want it to end on death. Gold and silver are okay. Ours just happens to this time it worked out that it's going to end up on gold. So very good. Should help answer some of the questions. I know, not sure the guy's name. I know the handle on the YouTube channel is STV Box TV Box. Drop me a name on there. I'd rather call you by a name as opposed to STV Box TV Box. So I believe we have the rise and run answered for the stairs. All right, let's go do a last minute walk around. Tail end of the day. The power came back on about 3:10, 3:15, so they got about 2 hours of power almost, which helped out with some of the rebar cutting that they needed done. Now back here on the front, the hollow block wall for the fence is coming along nicely. They are putting in the electrical conduit as they go. So down the south wall is up to height for the moment. They're also working on the forms that will be used around the posts. So that's what these two guys are starting to work on. That'll be more work on that tomorrow. And these guys up here in the front are continuing to work the hollow block, getting it up to 5 courses tall. Making sure to fill the holes back in as they go. Let's go take a look inside the house and see what all's been going on today. Okay, so like I mentioned out earlier, we've got both of the sides of the picture window completed. The two courses of hollow block along the bottom did not get done today. They're going to confirm with the engineer that that is exactly what needs to be done and then proceed with it. Mr. Joel is putting on the corner piece here so that the doors have something to attach to. And these guys over on this side are putting in the door frames and getting ready to start plaster coating here in the hallway, and that'll probably plaster coat starting tomorrow. Now then, moving back into the guest side of the house, into the bedroom area. Oh, looking nice and smooth. So the wall has been worked on all day today. Putting on the last piece here, getting the cement done so it'll smooth out, and then they finished in some of the holes on the wall so that they'll get ready to plaster coat it tomorrow. And Mr. Jericho has been starting on the upper half. Well, actually it's the middle half of the stairwell. And I did show you guys earlier where they had planned out the stairwell, how the steps were going to go. And up on top of the building, they're continuing to form the top bond beam as they work their way down. Work their way down the wall. They're continuing with it. And that's about where most everybody has been today. All right, that means yabba dabba do time. It's time to go home. Guys are going to start putting their tools away and getting ready. That's the end of build day number 96, otherwise known as Brownout day. 90% of the day had no power, which left the guys to mixing mortar and concrete by hand, doing mostly just manual labor type stuff today. The electrician was here, did a lot of routing and roughing in of electrical conduit, both inside the house and along the fence line. Fence line got it pretty well going today, up to the 5 courses of hollow block that we had discussed yesterday. Big thing for today was that the foreman figured out the steps as far as the rise and run for each tread. So we're on track for that. We're good. 19 centimeter rise with a 30 centimeter run, and we should be good. It should be very ergonomic. Might trip my toe once in a while because I'm not used to big flat steps, being in Asia for so long. Let's see, again, no power today, so we had no plumbers and no welders today. So they should be back tomorrow, back in full force and back to work. First point of action is they're going to rework the skeleton frame for the roof line going over the porch, the front porch area. Engineer said he would like to see that with a little bit steeper slopes on the side, a little bit steeper pitches. So we'll take a look at that tomorrow. So that's about it. So we'll see you guys again tomorrow as well. If you like today's video, please give us a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of these videos, hit the Casa TexPina star right over here and you'll be subscribed. Hit the bell icon just below the view screen and you'll be notified of our next upload for your viewing pleasure. So until we see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, and have a great afternoon and God bless. Thank you for watching. If you liked today's video, please hit like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon to be notified when our next video becomes available.